All right, it's in between. Rules are we don't bleep anything. We don't do whatever we want to do. If the kids are in the car, we love you kids, but you can't listen today.
Earmuffs.
Your mom and dad don't love you.
That has nothing to do with the podcast.
All right,
just
so
a statement
Sean, we have to turn over the mic to Richard. You wanted to talk about boobs. Go.
All right, go. What's the appeal?
No,
what is the big thing about boobs?
No, and Sean had just mentioned a little bit ago. That's what we want to talk about. I was like, okay, let's talk about boobs.
How do you make 5 pounds of fat look attractive? Put a nipple on it.
Okay, I'm in.
Where did that come? Don't tell me. I don't want to know where that came from.
Crunchy, crunchy, crunchy. All right.
My Cheetos lasted
I was talking
all
about
week.
the Marvel movies.
So San Diego Comic-Con was last week, and we got all the Marvel movie announcements.
I was kind of shocked that they didn't immediately go with the go-tos in terms of Black Panther and Captain Marvel and the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Those were noticeably absent from the fact that they said, we're going to make them.
Yeah.
But they, I guess, wanted to focus on things they thought the audience would find exciting,
or bringing in new things and not just treading the same ground.
Like Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. Okay.
But you know what? Guess what?
I'd never heard that before in my life.
But guess what? 5 years ago, people were saying Guardians of the Galaxy with a talking tree and a raccoon. Well, who wants to see that?
Yeah, but when they announced Guardians, they talked about it with other movies that sounded interesting. I'm sorry, doing Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. I'm familiar with it from comic books, but I don't go, wow, that sounds riveting. Ooh, I want to go see a Black Widow prequel, which should have actually come out before Endgame, so that her death, by the way she dies, had been more impact.
Wait, what? What?
That's fake news.
That came out this summer, right?
But the prequel doesn't have any impact. That should have happened before
Endgame,
because then the death would have meaning to it, right?
If there's one thing that, as a passive comic book fan, that I think that DC has owned over Marvel is at least the attention to women and how they've done it. I still think Captain Marvel, I thought it was a bit of a mess of a movie.
Right.
I thought that the same thing here. I thought here you have another female with a name actress you can put out there. That should have happened already. And that's just my stupid, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Look at it. I was like, what? You guys, we're all women. You put your shot in the Avengers Endgame, but you're really not paying attention to when they need to be there. Now, great. I know you texted me about the Natalie Portman being Thor,
but that was the surprise.
Yeah.
Now,
is that in the comics?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a storyline. Okay. Yeah. It was like a 5-year story.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's not that they were calling her, she's a female Thor. She was Thor. The male Thor was no longer Thor. She was Thor.
And there were some great stories. So I'm excited to see what they do in the movie universe with Natalie Portman, Jane Foster becoming Thor, and owning and taking over that movie. I mean, that's a big get because I thought she wasn't going to do anything with Marvel again. All of a sudden, like, sure, I'll lead a Marvel movie.
I think Shang-Chi. I think the Shang-Chi will get traction because it's going to be an action movie. It's going to have karate or martial arts in it, and hopefully they're going to do it right. Unlike Iron Fist, and they're going to be spending more time on the choreography and everything. The one that I think that you go Shang-Chi, I go Eternals. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's
Eternals?
That's even a harder concept.
Okay, so
that hit me literally. That and there's another thing that says "What if?" I looked at those two and I'm like, "What?"
We'll get to "What if" in a second. Okay, so the Eternals. Think of it this way. I don't know if you remember, for a long time, Marvels was trying to set up the thing called the Inhumans. That was going to be basically those were going to be kind of their version of mutants because Fox had X-Men.
Okay,
and even the comic book line had said we're kind of shoving the X-Men to the past and we're trying to bring the Inhumans to the front because we want to make them our new mutants, and that kind of never really panned out. And then Fox and Marvel and everybody else kind of made up and bought each other, and so now they're bringing the mutants into Marvel at some point. But the Eternals is even more of a shit show, I think.
Do you remember in Guardians 2 specifically, when they kind of started to deal with kind of cosmic level beings? And they just really had no connection with what's going on. Like, it just didn't, didn't kind of connect with anything. The Eternals are godlike characters. And so for them to connect to a movie audience on a human level doesn't seem possible.
It's going to be one of those things where somehow
really stiff.
It's going to be the human finds out about the Eternals, and now they're the fish out of water, and we're going to have to follow their viewpoint because look at all these strange
powers. It's going to be
powers.
like Transformers, where it's from the kids' perspective.
Yeah, basically
dealing with godlike creatures that just don't give a shit about kids.
Yeah. So
I mean, I don't. I mean, I don't see. But I don't see the emotional importance of the Eternals. I don't see how they're going to relate to the movie audience. You're already sticking, super stiff Angelina Jolie in this kind of cosmic power. Well, you go.
Is she in there?
Yep.
Okay, I'll watch it.
And I like Kumail Nanjiani too. I'm trying to imagine.
He's
in the movie that's out now called Stuber. He's in.
Oh yeah, I know who that is. Yeah. I never can say his name, and so that's why it doesn't
Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah, him.
So I'm excited about
Napu Nahasapita Pelon. That's his name in The Simpsons. You didn't know his last name was Nahasapita Pelon?
I think I did.
Long pause. So I was really excited about the Jane Foster stuff, but it doesn't. I know it's a good story because I've read the comics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it wowed me as much as it did people that didn't know Jane Foster picking up the hammer of Thor.
I just saw that awkward picture where, I'm not saying a woman has to be beefy to hold Thor's hammer, but yeah,
she's very slight. Yeah.
She's a very tiny woman, and she's holding that in that picture kind of like
awkwardly.
Yeah. And I thought somebody should have shown her, hey, we're going to do it. So it's a publicity moment. Could you hold it?
Well, here's the question though. I mean, they don't really show it in the movie, but we have Donald Blake, who's this alter ego, and he's a normal human who is on crutches, and he takes the hammer of Thor and becomes this godlike creature. Now I've got kind of diminutive Natalie Portman. Is she going to take it and become a different actor?
Actress or playing an actor?
I would doubt that with an actor of that level.
Well, but when she in the comic book,
think of it this way. They de-size Chris Evans in the first Captain America to make him a wimp.
Sure.
There's no saying they can't increase her size to make her more substantial.
Well,
she's got to learn how to handle
that mask.
She does.
Yeah.
Well, I thought about what you did with Mark Ruffalo to make him into the Hulk. You can do something where you keep him, you can keep her.
Keep her face, keep his personality, keep the acting, yeah.
All right, so fine. Okay, you got to tell me what if is. I looked at that and I was like...
There's one more I want to talk about. One I'm excited about.
What?
Charlotte Arlie as I said his name wrong, as Blade.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like him. He's a great actor.
Is exciting.
And of course that's going to be Phase 5 or whatever, because they didn't even say anything about that. And
I thought it was Phase 4.
No, because he doesn't have a movie announced in that slate. So he's going to be Phase 5.
No, I want to watch a Blade movie.
That's what Kevin Feige was saying at the very end of it. Hey, we got Blade here. Oh, and guess what? We didn't get to talk about Fantastic Four. And we didn't get to talk about Mutants. So they have plans for all that. That's all Phase 5 shit.
Well, especially since they now owned X-Men, and since the last X-Men flopped, when are we going to see an X-Men movie?
Well, it won't be. No, I have a feeling
they're going to tease it. But
I think they're going to drop little hints in here that the snap kind of broke something and brought maybe some people back, but they're slightly changed.
Oh, they already said that Doctor Strange was going to be a horror film and deal with the multiverse.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, I need to ask a Marvel question.
Yes.
So, I finally took my wife and daughter to see Endgame. They enjoyed that. Of course, my daughter gets real bored with much. She's a DC girl. She likes Batman. She's my girl.
Yeah.
Flip forward to, we see the new Spider-Man, which I said earlier, my daughter is in love with Tom Holland now and thinks he's wonderful. But as I watched the end of Endgame with the snap, then especially when I watched the first of Spider-Man where they talk about how people out-aged them while they were gone.
And some of them didn't.
Yeah.
What happened to his friend? How did his friend not age?
They all snapped with him. They all snapped.
Did the friend snap too?
Yeah.
But they have that moment where it's like, I don't know, it played real weird.
All the kids that are the same age snapped. That's like Aunt May snapped too.
God, I love Marissa Tomei as Aunt May.
Because that's the whole thing. They came back.
I could use a little more of her, actually.
I thought so. I love her as an actress. I think she's a beautiful woman, and I think it's such a simple twist to that story to make her young and more relevant to his life than just an old woman.
I would like to see more of her in the film than they gave her this last time.
With the way the second movie ends, I think there will be more because with him being public, she's public too because she's his aunt. So
True.
She's going to have to.
And that makes me wonder this too. And I do like that they've never gone back to tell his origin story again. However, I do wonder, is there an Uncle Ben in this? And could you just tease, since she's having this relationship now with Happy, could there just be the tease of an Uncle Ben, just to keep it consistent with that?
I'm assuming that Uncle Ben died just as in, because that's why he became Spider-Man.
I would hope so.
That's why he became the hero Spider-Man.
There's an element to the fact that they're not tackling repeat villains.
Yes.
And the fact that we also had the J. Jonah Jameson from another franchise pop up that is either trying to give us the sense that these movies are somehow all connected, are somehow different universes, are somehow whatever. They're just moving forward. It's very, very Marvel not to try and redefine everything in the comic universe when something changes. Oh, Mary Jane had a baby, and then Mary Jane...
we'll just get rid of that.
We're just going to get rid of the baby. Like, there's all sorts of stuff in the Marvel universe where they don't just try and suddenly retcon stuff and fix things like DC tries to do with crises and things like that. Marvel just doesn't do it. They just keep going.
They'll just kind of go, the Fantastic Four went into space in the 60s. All right, we'll say they went into space in the 90s. We're just going to
fudge it a little bit more this way. So what they're doing with the movie universe and Spider-Man makes perfect sense in terms of what they've done with their continuity all along.
The Punisher...
It's all existed.
The Punisher used to fight in Vietnam. Now they moved it up to the Iraq War, stuff like that.
So how are they going to handle Daredevil Punisher that was on Netflix?
That's the whole thing. People are saying, are they writing that off as
a failed experiment?
Are they saying it's not continuity because the guy who's playing Blade also played a bad guy in Luke Cage in season 2?
Which Luke Cage, I just gotta despise that
Is
series.
It supposed to be, are they going to recast characters? Are they going to bring them in from the movie? Or are they just never going to do anything with those? Or are they going to move them over to Disney Channel?
I love him as an actor, and I would hate to see them take all the things out of that because I love Charlie Cox, is that who played Daredevil? I love him.
Yeah.
In that. I love him. I'm not quite as wild about the Punisher, that dude.
No.
He's kind of a one-note actor for me, but I would hate to see them take him out. I would love for Disney to come in and say, you know what? You're our Daredevil. You get to come on.
Yeah.
What's her name to do Jessica Jones? I'd love to see the others they could recast, but I don't know. It hurts my head because there's so much shit with Marvel, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Well, think about it this way. There's also Hulu with Runaways. There's Freeform with Cloak and Dagger. They've got Legion on Marvel, but that's not Marvel. There's another one that's out that I can't remember, or coming out. But you were asking about What If earlier. What if is literally that. You say, what if Jane Foster picked up the hammer instead of Thor? What if Peggy Carter got the superhero formula instead of Captain America? What if Uncle Ben didn't die?
So What If was a comic series. It was actually it was one comic series that ended up being like a second volume and a third volume, and then ended up being one shots here and there.
Right.
But it was just a fun concept where Marvel says we're going to do one story, one issue.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be on the streaming service, right?
We're just going to play with our mythos and say, hey, what if Aunt May got bit by the radioactive spider?
What if Flash Thompson got bitten? Yeah.
And so then it's an entire story basically on what would happen if she'd got bitten and how the universe would be different or change or how the characters would be different. But then the very next issue of the series would be a what if something else had happened.
So what if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four?
Okay.
And what's funny is some of these they've actually done, such as what if Jane Foster picked up the hammer of Thor? Well, guess what?
They actually did it. It's a storyline in the comic books.
Okay.
But I haven't read the treatment for the show based upon the fact that they're doing it. So I have no idea if they're really going to bring some of these massive characters in to do these giant things.
Well, I have heard that they are, for the most part, getting all the actors that played them in the movies to do the voices for the cartoon.
Okay. That's still pretty crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, it's basically you think of a storyline that you liked, and then you go, well, what if Spider-Man never escaped from the symbiote suit? What would happen then? Well, it goes on a rampage, and then it takes over the Hulk, and then it takes over it takes over Wolverine. What do you do when that happens?
Okay. That I'm actually interested in. That sounds fun.
Or what if the Fantastic Four never got their powers? So they built their ship properly, went up, never hit the cosmic rays.
So we're going to have the Fantastic Four be relaunched yet again in the Marvel world?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They have to be, right?
Yeah. They have to. Yeah, no doubt.
What are properties that have to be a part of a Marvel universe?
Part of a Marvel universe?
Film universe.
Okay, so...
at some point, mutants. They need to get mutants in there.
Well, and when you say mutants, that is all-inclusive of the X-Men type.
Yes.
So this is my current theory. My current theory about the X-Men and how they're going to bring them into the universe, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're doing exactly what I just said with Spider-Man. All right? The X-Men movies to this point have already tackled some big storylines like God Loves Man Kills and
Dark
Days of
Phoenix
Future Past and Dark Phoenix. They've already done it. They've already done it to death.
Mm-hmm.
And the audience is familiar with that stuff. So I don't feel like the Marvel movies and Kevin Feige would want to do that kind of reinterpretive of those grand storylines.
They could do...
They'd have to build to them. I think what's going to happen, I think there's a book out on the shelves now called House of X by Jonathan Hickman. And he is getting to kind of recraft the next phase